like where you're at, but here it is right now raining. But it's all good because God has to replenish the earth. We need the rain. We need the rain. So that our soil, crops, everything. We need the rain. We just need it. Our flowers to start growing, the trees to start budding out and growing, all the beautiful things that happen in the rain for the season and what the rain does for the season. I know it's early right now. I wanted to share this video I came across with HN News. Shout out to HN News for what they've been doing for the last 6, 5, 6, whatever years of sharing documents with us about around this R. Kelly injustice. Um, Research information, very good research information, who's been following all the legal battles going on in the courthouse to the outhouse of around R. Kelly's legal situation. And his team been going like R. Kelly wasn't able to really get the best at the time representatives for him, the best legal counsel and adequate um, counseling. He didn't get that because of the fact that these people that were hired to represent him during the time were all attorneys whose license there's been problems with them winning cases. They haven't really have a big name out there yet. Some of them have worked on big high profile trials before, but nothing as big as this one, and came out winning on their team. So they made sure that they was able to bankrupt R. Kelly to stand before the courts and everything and not have money to pay for anything. Even when they was trying to pay his bond, they gave $1 million just to. I think his bond was like what 100 and something thousand dollars or more than that. It was about $1 million. No, he had $1 million bond, and somebody put it up for him. Some company, some business, some people did put up the money for R. Kelly bond to him out of jail when they came for him when the feds came, but they kept him with no bond. When the feds get you, usually they don't really allow bonds to be set. Okay, when it's a federal investigation or a federal crime or whatever like that, before it goes to trial, they usually don't um, actually, for black people that commit crimes, maybe that they feel has committed a crime. They don't usually, because they feel that you might be a flight risk, meaning that you might sneak out of the country or whatever like that, and they can't it cost them a whole lot of money to try to get you back from any country that you might flee to. So a lot of times they really don't give you, no matter how powerful of so-called you are, they're not going to risk that. So anyway, especially for a black man, especially for a black man. But our problems are over, black people. You just hold on. Give President Trump just a little bit more time. I'm not looking at it the way the world is looking at him right now. I see things the way God is going to, how God is moving around the army of his people, how God is going to justify everything. So just hold on, black people. Don't be getting yourself crazy and wacky. Like you got some white people out here crying because they know their time is up. Okay? Their time has become up. They practice so much evil. They went a little bit too far with God now. So God ain't too happy with them. Okay? They the one who pushed the gay agenda. They are the ones who pushed the LGBTQ agenda. And they the ones who's been getting away with the murders and all the crimes in America with they lying to the people, the crime they committed, fraud, everything, all the people they hurt throughout the entire world, of them being able to live in comfort in the life of the milk and honey, and everybody else is suffering here working, and it's just crazy. And they showing the world Like these people now with technology and everything, and people on the internet now, they see the real America. And they really see who's been the oppressors in America. They see it. That's why the black man and the black woman, we don't got to go out there and get in the front line for nobody fight right now. All we got to do is stand down. And they warning us because they are tired of the white man and his sick disease. As soon as President Trump got elected, and it's been going on, they've been wearing a mask and doing what they've been doing since the whatever times when we went through Jim Crow, and then we had to go through, Jim Crow segregation was Jim Crow. Okay, that's when blacks were not allowed to drink at white fountains and use white bathrooms and all this stuff that they forbidded us, restricted us from. I'm gonna say restricted us from of theirs. All the black men that was lynched and burned, and mothers that were lynched and their babies cut out of their belly to fall to the ground. Some of the cruel and brutal treatment that slaves. That's why I don't like to go back into slavery. I don't like to look back at that in my history, but you have to sometimes so it won't be repeated. But the most important thing you need to learn is that word, that Bible. God is doing some amazing things for black people right now in America for the way we've been treated. That's why I say don't get in these people fight. Stand down. Because who's gonna fight our battle? Because we it is we gotta stand down and let God fight our battle. And God is already going to fight our battle. And right now, this man that they've been incarcerated, named this music artist, this innocent man, that they try to accuse him of being the the demonic monster inside of the music industry that was bringing in teenage young girls so that they can be favors for the parties. This is how they try to paint R. Kelly as a criminal in America when they've been doing this stuff forever, forever and evermore. Where they hide their dirty little secrets behind that music industry, all the crime going on behind that music industry. This what they did to R. Kelly was like a mob hit on his life. The same stuff they did to Michael Jackson, the same stuff they did to Whitney Houston, the same stuff they did to Angie Stone, the same stuff they did to Gerald Levert, his brother, the pain and the agony they had caused Eddie Levert, their father, the same way they tried to the sex parties were going on even during Bill Cosby time. The sex parties and everything was going on. The Diddy parties were going on even during the time Richard Pryor was coming up in his time. The time when Eddie Murphy and all of them were all getting into the life of the rich and famous when they were around entertainment in these parties. I saw a part of that, I think, um, in Richard Pryor movie, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, when he got so out of control as an addict for the new drug that they were pushing at the time, crack cocaine, and he ended up burning himself, lighting the pipe he had. I don't know, with some kind of fluids on it or whatever. He was just really down at his lowest, low, 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 because that's how bad that industry was messing him up, and the things that these people have to do to sell their soul just to get a record deal or to just the horrible, horrible things that they make these people do as slave to their stuff. That's what the devil does. He make you become a slave to it, beg for it, and he wants you to do it the way he wants you to do it, and that's the way Satan operates. And the thing they didn't like about R. Kelly, because he was becoming to be somebody that would stand up to them, tell him he's not going to do it. You know, You can do all you want to try to take from me, but you're not going to take my music. You're not going to do this to me. I wrote these songs and I deserve to get paid for them. Every artist that you asked me to work with and to write for in the music and everything, I have done it for you and I have delivered it to you, and all the goods. And here you're going to tell me you're not going to pay me my money. I know, no, I ain't got nobody out here. And then on top of that, hire all these janky lawyers and attorneys around him, except for Jennifer Bonjean. She picked up his case because she sees the injustice and she's doing everything. They blocked her, sidebarred her at the courtroom. I wasn't there at the courtroom, but I know what sidebars mean. Okay. They try to shut her down on yep, they try to shut her down. They try to silence her because she's a woman law firm. She's a female law firm, one of the most powerful female law firms that's out here. And they try to hurt her career. They try to break her career apart and everything. These bigots, evil, disgusting white men who's been controlling America. These nasty perverts that sleep with little kids, but then they want to lock you up for the crimes that they committed. Dirty, perverted, old, white, rich men. That's what they do. Okay? And they've been doing it forever. But now their time has come to be over because God is on the throne right at this moment. He's on the throne and he's ready to show you who is in power. That's why you hear all these videos going up from these Arab nations and these places in Islam and these places from all over the world watching America burn to the ground. Okay? Watching America be destroyed. But the thing is in America is that they got something here too. And that's God ain't just only coming for America, but this is where all the rich perverts hide they riches. This is where they have all their money in stock, in on the stock market. All the things that they have actually invested in America, they real estate. So the world is watching. Not saying that God is only just going to come for America, but he's ready to do a shift. He's ready to change the conditions of how we're living, how we've been living, and not being good to one another, not being fair to one another. And who have taken the most punishment in America, the most harshest treatment in America? Not the Latinos, none of the Hispanics, not the Latinos, not the Asian community, not none of others. They was able to work, go to work, get what they have to do done, come home, go. And then on top of that, if they get sick and tired of America, they can always pack up and just go on right on back to their country. But do we have that kind of do we have that type of option that we could just throw our American culture away and follow to go back to live in Africa or whatever other countries of the world that we want to go live in and just say to hell with this American world? We don't have that option because first of all, a lot of us don't speak the language. We didn't grow up in the culture. A lot of things that's in us in our DNA from America is not going to work for us in other places of the world because we've been conditioned here. And to have to learn how to speak another language, adapt to a new culture, and all this other stuff, and their religion and all that stuff. I ain't no Islam, and I don't think I could ever do it. Be a national, and I'm just gonna keep it real. It's not in my DNA. Now, some things from my experience of a black Christian will make me get radical, will make me become, lose my mind and say some things that I just don't want to say. But I'm just being real right now. I'm not being anti Semitic. I'm not being anti Muslim. I'm not being none of that. I'm just telling you the truth how it is for me. And I still love my country because this is where I was born and raised. This is where most of my ancestry of the ancestors and everything, not most of my ancestors, because I know my ancestry is in Africa, most definitely. My people came from the motherland. They came from where we originally from. We originally from Africa. But as time and generations moved on and things has happened, some things about my African culture went away. I lost. Well, actually, I didn't really lose it because it's still in us. But it's in us in a way where they don't understand because they're not like us. like shit, like Kendrick Lamar said, they not like us. They wasn't built like us to feel the music, which is our voice, our spirit travels through music. And in Africa, whenever every tribe had their own sound to the drums, in a song in the drums to signal their tribes or for a certain type of celebration or whatever. When we hear certain African music, it connects with us. Whether we grew up in Africa or not, but when we hear a certain tone, a sound in a song or whatever that is from Afrobeat, we know who our people are because it's in us, how we connect to our people. So back to what I'm saying. Let me go into my Father's prayer. I forgot. I am so sorry, Lord. Forgive me for this. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us a day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, Lord, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. 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 Okay, I had to say that. I'm sorry, y'all. I started talking without lifting up my prayers, but I'm just saying to African people over here, diaspora, as far this ain't our fight. What's going on right now in this world and all over the world, and especially with America under attack right now by other nations, is not our fight. We are tired. We didn't call for it. We didn't ask for it. We didn't go over there and, get in any fights with them over there in other countries. We didn't put our business in it. Really, we did. We don't know just like with Vietnam, we don't know. Most of the wars that went on in America it had nothing to do, well, it had something to do with us in some sort of way, but they put us out there to fight just so that they could win the war. And they put us on the front line to die and join the Civil War. If you know your American history, that's why they wanted to take that out of American history. It was a black man. That was and President Trump did do that when he shared that with us for Black American history. About some of the black soldiers that shouldn't be forgotten, that fought for us during the Civil War. That fought with us during the Civil War, they have already died for us here. So really, we don't have to run nowhere, but we ain't got to take they shit either. And it ain't gonna go on like this. It can't continue like this. We already dealt with it for 400 years. The time is up. That means that the white man ain't gonna be sitting on top anymore to be ruling and controlling things. He's got to pay for his crimes. The black man has paid enough for his crimes. covering his sin. Because everything that went on in that music world of entertainment was a lot of evil, with some crimes that was committed and hidden. And it's about to be all of them that was involved. Not just the Diddy is just to keep you distracted, to keep you. Diddy is to keep you distracted. Diddy is to keep you, not really knowing that it's that big dog that he's protecting that is in that music industry, who they coming for, his boss. Because Diddy had a boss. Diddy had a boss. And it's so funny that out of all of them that came into that music game, R. Kelly's the only one who stand alone. He was the only one that didn't come in with nobody he knew that was a big somebody already or whatever like that. No, R. Kelly didn't. R. Kelly came, like I said, he was managed by Barry Hankerson, Aaliyah's uncle. Listen to what I'm saying. Barry Hankerson, Aaliyah's uncle, who used to be married to Gladys Knight. And after Aaliyah's death, Aaliyah's mother and her brother Barry relationship has been estranged. But she knows her brother had something to do with her daughter's death. Somehow or the other, he's something, just like he had something to do with R. Kelly being married to Aaliyah. How they were in a business negotiation with R. Kelly. And if anything, R. Kelly probably was more trying to protect her and protect. They got him from underneath working with her after they, because I was wondering when Leah came back, when she didn't know, she left for a while and she went to go do the movie, that movie with the with what's his name, DMX and all of that. Romeo Must Die. And it was another one she was in, but I know when Romeo Must Die in that movie and everything, she went to go do movies and stuff, and they set her up to do the movie Romeo Must Die. And so she was missing for quite some time off the scene for a minute. And I was like, I wonder what happened to Aaliyah. Because I know when she came back, first she did the Age Ain't Nothing But a Number when she first was introduced on the scene with R. Kelly. And she worked with R. Kelly, her uncle Barry Hankerson, and also her uncle managing her. I think it was her uncle Barry Hankerson, and her mother and her family was always around her when she was working with R. Kelly. But somehow or the other, they were able to arrange that R. Kelly take this trip. Okay, R. Kelly was ready to do a concert, not a concert, but opening act or whatever. He was supposed to be singing at some place, but anyway, performing. So what they had to do and everything is that R. Kelly was like, look, I got to go back because I just got this phone call about blase blase. So that's when, of course, he was supposed to, they had it set up, take R. Kelly and Aaliyah to perform some kind of wedding ceremony. And then after they do that and everything, just take the, make it announced that Leah and R. Kelly secretly got married and let that stuff blow up all over the urban radios and everything else in the world. The way they was just really setting it up for R. Kelly. Because Leah was part of the plan for them to groom this young girl and then put her in the industry and see how these men was going to fight over. Like these men like R. Kelly, Jay-Z, not Diddy, but Damon Dash. I'm going to just throw Damon Dash in there. Okay, now some of this stuff I'm telling you may be me just figuring it out, and I'm just telling you. But some of these things were reported. These things were recorded. Some of these things were part of the research, that information that came from all different people, and I'm just sharing it here with you. The part I believe the most is that R. Kelly was set up with that marriage with this minor, And him being the young, naive, vulnerable, whatever young man he was at the time, he didn't really understand this business part of this industry, of what they were negotiating to do, or what he was signing up to do. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have nobody looking out for R. Kelly. Everybody was looking out for themselves. Demetrius Smith already said that when he went in R. Kelly's and took R. Kelly's credit card or whatever and stole money from R. Kelly and stuff. And he had to get his butt canned. Same thing happened with R. Kelly's brothers when they got into the business with R. Kelly. That was supposed to be there for his best interest, and they weren't. His brother, of course, not Bruce, but more his brother Carrie. He was running around with the bootleg tapes with porn and child porn tapes and everything in the community about his brother. And he was running with that Demetrius Smith. Like how they was like how they doing Diddy now, how they driving Diddy crazy about the Diddy party list and everything. Diddy party, that list ain't nowhere in Diddy's house. They looking for the cameras. They looking for everything Diddy might have on people that was there at that um, Diddy party. But the thing is that they know those cameras aren't with Diddy. They know the files and the lists and everything is nowhere near Diddy. Because remember, Diddy got a boss. And that boss is can't trust Diddy. That boss right now can't trust Diddy. And Diddy is going to blow the roof off. Diddy is going to start really wanting to save his life, his children, want to be around his kids again, want to see his kids again. You want to be, whatever. They right now interrogating him in a sort of kind of the physical way or the mental way or whatever way they trying to do it. But that's how they operate. When they don't want the secret to get out and they don't want people to know who they are, that they were actually inside that um at that Diddy party. It's coming from someplace other than just Diddy. The feds are watching because the feds don't move unless they get in. They not gonna move unless they getting it from somebody higher than them that they work for. The feds is the federal government. And who they work for. That's giving them the executive order. To go get those tapes, to go find every file that's out there that might have them connected to it. That ain't, and they got you feeding you this garbage on YouTube and everything that, oh, Diddy, Diddy is a distraction from the truth. Diddy, yes, has some part of being there and, whatever part of this illegal crime, the crime that he committed. Only thing they know about Diddy is that Diddy had a problem with having hit and putting his hands on Cassie, and they also have a problem with Diddy that people accused him of, as far as like men hustle. I mean, like what they call again, like men that he manipulated, men that he made do certain things for him, in order for them to get a career ahead. And that's when that Ronnie, not Ronnie Bo, Little Ronnie, Little Rod, whatever his name is, who was working in on being a music producer, not a music, but a song music producer, writer, whatever, somebody like that, Little Rod, and he came in there and Diddy had him doing things with orgies with women, having sex with women, and then on top of that, turn around and make him have sex with men, like using him as a sex slave, as manipulation and taking advantage of somebody because they need something. So, in order for you want to give it to them, then you want to make them do these horrible things to themselves just to get something from you. So you can make them do something really dirty and shameful and control over them to do certain things and put them in power like that, like dehumanize them, humiliate them, Just those kind of ugly heart, especially when the person not, and when I say free will, they're not going to do it out of free will, like this is something they would normally do, and they don't have a problem with doing it. But I'm talking about somebody who actually have to lower their pride, lower their dignity, lower their self-esteem, um, just just so that they can have an opportunity in the game of music. They did that to just about most of the majority of their artists. Not saying all, were treated that way because they had some that had people fighting for them for the top, on the top. But I'm talking about with this industry and the power that is in those executive, you want to call music and corporate music places. It's like corporate America. Let's say corporate America. The dirty things that people do to get on top for the love of money, love of fame, and fortune. The things people will sell their soul to do for the love of money. And nobody should have to stoop that low. If you work for something, it's yours. You should earn it. Nobody should have to um, humiliate you. Nobody should do that to you. Nobody should have to do that to any man or any woman. God strictly said that. And this ain't coming from no man. This is coming from God. You're supposed to pay back fairly. You're supposed to pay them fairly. Somebody worked for you, like with R. Kelly suffering and he's going through, and he had nothing to do with none of this stuff. As far as like the crime that was being committed behind his music, which y'all were doing, going to his concerts, setting up after parties, because R. Kelly had his own separate after parties, but y'all was going there, bringing some of these girls or whatever like that to his party. Like y'all already had it set up how y'all was gonna bring the girls in on the bus or bring the girls to the party while y'all was committing crimes of having sex and orgies and doing all kind of freaky kinky things and thinking nobody didn't have their eyes on sight that you gonna get away with doing it and blame R. Kelly for it. And probably, like I'm just saying with young women and everything that go out to have fun. Don't leave your party in your club. Now I did it. I mean not gonna lie. I have. Now I ain't talking about orgies and stuff of that nature. No, 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 no. Young woman living out there on my own. When I was out there dating, it was some things that I did that could have been cost me my life. Could have cost me to get raped, and and a whole lot of other things could have happened to me as a young girl out there. The way I was rocking in New York, like how I was partying, without looking out for my safety and the things that I used to be wearing. Now I ain't dressed like some of these young adults dress today. I didn't wear my boobs hanging out and my ass hanging out and going out with men or anything like that. Or that was not never really my way to, you know, attract any man in the first place. Because I know if he's coming for all of that, then he ain't coming for the real me. He's just coming to use my body. So I didn't dress in any provocative, really outrageous way to catch attention of men. Now these women today talking about they disrespectful to themselves. The way they are out here exposing themselves. They are disrespecting themselves. And that's what I wanted to talk about as far as like with R. Kelly and stuff. He had his performance and he did some of his They said his best acts when he performed for his audience at concerts and stuff, and he brought his wife out to dance. And that was the very best performance he did. And that was it. And I think Drea, when she got married to R. Kelly and he kept her off the scene to protect her ass, she didn't like that. She wanted to be out there, you know, having her husband in fights and crazy shit for her. Because she know what she had, a lot of men would have been looking at and would have been trying to get with it. Okay, and she would have get right on. And well, there's no way R. Kelly coming back to her. If anything, he probably find a way to talk to her because they had a family together, they got history together. But the thing is that he will never trust her again, ever, ever. And he said that before they took him on that Gayle King show. He screamed and he says, "I was married for 13 years to this wife. I came on a helicopter." He couldn't get it out of much all the pain that was in his heart of how she betrayed him. That wicked, jealous, hateful wife, Drea, ex-wife. How she humiliated him into the world. Oh, she done. You can forgive people, but you got to be able to forgive them in a way where you have to just forget them. I can forgive you for what you did because I know you probably was under some spell or somebody else's control or to do these things, horrible things to me. So what makes you think you're not going to do it again and be successful at it? So the best thing for me to do is to forgive you and forget you. Keep you from a distance. Mm-hmm. Because those are wounds that don't really heal. It's just some things that just you just don't do to people. But anyway, let me get into this. HN, I'm sharing this. They rather jail him than pay him. Now, this video was done by HNN News, and I thought I would share it with you all this morning. I found it very interesting. I usually don't do HNN News share their videos on my platform in this sort of way. But I just found what they were saying in this video, the content in this video was giving good information and helping people to see things, examine things on both on thoroughly and on both sides of things and seeing things. A lot of people had a lot to say about what R. Kelly role was and what R. Kelly should have done and what they running their mouth. They need to shut up because they don't really know what they would have done if they were R. Kelly. So don't sit up there and condemn this man to hell without knowing all the facts. And even if you did know all the facts, you have no right to judge. You are not the judge. Because when God have to reflect some of the things you've done in your life or one of your loved ones to the world, you don't want people to sit around finding you guilty when you haven't even proven you're innocent or wasn't even given the opportunity to prove your innocence. And the opportunity they already had in their mind to judge him guilty and give him a guilty verdict before he even went to court. The verdict was already in by the public. The same way they trying to do with Diddy. But with Diddy, it's going to be a little different. If Diddy could survive the next 2 months when his trial. Well, actually, he's not going to have a trial until next year, probably. Because it's just so much stuff that has to be layers that they're going to have to go through of paperwork, of time, dates, hours. And one thing interesting I found about Diddy's thing is that Diddy and Jay Z, not was it Diddy and Jay Z? One of the is either one of the two or both of them that police officers have filed um, some complaints that were made, there were police reports. In one of Diddy or Diddy, and they was gonna there are some police reports made. With R. Kelly, there was never any police reports. There's no police reports of these women that claim to have been R. Kelly's so-called victims. These women that claim to have been R. Kelly so-called victims never filed police reports of any of these claims. Everything went to an attorney. Everything went to the law, to a lawyer. You know, there's a certain protocol. There's a certain way you got to do process. You got to do things to order to file a complaint to any lawyer. Isn't that strange that there was no police reports reported on any of these things that R. Kelly was accused of? It was only just their word and their lawyer that was getting this money, that R. Kelly, to pay them off as victims. None of these things, that these claims all through R. Kelly's throughout in R. Kelly's entire career, none of these claims were made. They went directly to a law firm. But anyway, like I said, America is done covering up her crimes of what she has done to the black man, the black woman, the black family, and everything in America. Because right now, the world is watching. No more lies. The world is watching. And I'm still proud to be an American. I have no other choice but to be proud to be here in a place where I had to deal with all of the mess that I had to deal with, the stuff that I had to live through. I am proud to be a black American. And I'm going to say it and say it and say it again. You know. Oh, I don't know if y'all ever remember this song, and this is a song that R. Kelly has wrote as well. It's by God's Grace with the group called Trinity Six. It's by God's Grace. R. Kelly wrote the song. So R. Kelly is the music industry. R. Kelly basically is going to own Sony. He's going to own it all. He wrote gospel. He wrote pop songs, maybe some songs, country music for some artists. He wrote some rhythm and blues. We know that that's his number one. As far as R. Kelly's not really a rapper, but I know he's somebody he could spit some bars though when he ready, because rapping and all of that stuff wasn't really always his best of his interest in music. His music was mostly in R&B. And I was also asking some people, like people that claim that they work in the music world with R. Kelly and all of this other stuff, that used to set up his concerts, and how they used to work around, what songs or whatever R. Kelly will be able to perform with, the songs they gave R. Kelly. Let me tell you something. R. Kelly couldn't even perform and sing his own songs. The songs that he could pick to choose to sing. They would pick the songs for R. Kelly. R. Kelly wanted to introduce other songs from his catalog of music that he can perform and make great hits. But they didn't do that to R. Kelly. They wanted R. Kelly to continue to keep people in that state of mind when all of that porn tape was floating around in the ghettos about him being in some porn tape with a minor. They wanted to keep playing with your head to let you keep thinking he was really a sex demon. You know what I'm saying? They were the sex demon. And they wanted R. Kelly to sing the songs so that they can get those women to come to the after parties, to the Diddy parties. They were using their crimes behind R. Kelly's music. That's why we were like saying, why is this man locked up? This man is a great talent. Because of the music and the lyrics he was using was to please their imagination and to please their flesh. and to police what they wanted R. Kelly to sing, to bring in the young girls, to bring in the minors, to bring them in. Because you know how it is when we hear a song around mommy and daddy and it's a nice song and we like to dance. Like I was listening to Marvin Gaye and all of them back in the days and music was going on in my house. You know what I'm saying? Parties for my mother's anniversaries, my mother and father's wedding anniversary, birthday parties, Christmas, Thanksgiving, family gatherings, family get-togethers. You know, that's what we did back then. That's how we celebrated being around each other. Music was our everything in our home. You know, gospel music, you name it. We loved it. We love our music. You know, music is the universe of the world. Music is the world, okay? It controls emotions, feelings. It can make you fall in love. It can make you angry. It can make you go insane. It could do all kind. Music could do so much to program people, with people's emotions. Yes, music is a very powerful thing, and if you're good at, you hitting it right where it's supposed to. Like R. Kelly, he's hitting it right where how it's supposed to feel to you. So they wanted him to come and sing for the little girls, you know, to come in, the teenagers and the ones who want to, you know, break laws and rules and get a, don't want to listen to their parents. Some of the parents and the parents ain't in it because the parents been in it. That's why the parents ain't arrested because the parents were, some of the parents is didn't even know they little girls or little boys were ran away from home. Some of them are caught up in their own shit. They not even having a relationship with their kids. The real, you know, supposedly parents that the kids are out there in the wild, the wilderness in the wild and just wilding out and everything. Those parents never had no control over their children. And I'm gonna tell you like this: even if they did, Hollywood and the music industry has more influence over your children, whether you know it or not, than you do. That's why the music got to stop and it has to change. They have to change the music because the music is messing up youth, young people all over the world. Too much violence, too much sex. So the sound of the music, the beat of the music gotta change. We just can't let songs like this just go off on in the market all over the world, even though it's already on you know, YouTube or whatever. That they want to stream and listen to music on YouTube or whatever. But some of them videos, what they're gonna do is they're gonna take them down. Anything that sounds too sexual, too explicit, anything that's like hardcore sexual and explicit, they going to take that music down, and that music can go for, you know, other things that they want to be behind the scene entertained with, but not in the public. They got to get it out of the sight of children. They got to get it away from our children because it's destroying our children. It's destroying our boy children, especially the male children. How it's destroying them. How some of this music is making them feminine. That's driving through their soul, like some things that the music is causing them to do. Music is a big influence over people. Music is a spirit. And everybody is like saying, "Oh, R. Kelly, you know you did this, you did that. You need to admit that you did it. You did." He never said he didn't do anything wrong, but the things that y'all accusing him of doing wrong, he didn't do it. That's the part but they don't want to hear that part because that's what they already programmed a lot of you to think by listening to the trial going on before it really became a trial in court. This is how the government has programmed you. the way they want you to feel. But see, the government don't control how I feel. God controls how I feel about R. Kelly. And I'm talking about the man behind the music, which is Robert. God knows how I feel about Robert Kelly. God knows how a lot of us feel about R. Kelly innocence. That's why we've been fighting, we've been screaming, we've been doing this, we've been streaming, we've been doing going to the courthouse, to the jailhouse, to every place we can possibly go to sound the alarm that R. Kelly is innocent. They got to destroy that industry and they have to rebuild and make it better than what it was before and change some of the things that they allowed to be published out in the public to the young children, things that they protect. I said, let your president sit right there and do his job without all the other distraction. He know what's up. Because before the government, let me tell you something. Biden, Barack, all of them know about the Diddy parties. Some of them got tied up in it. When they do these big world meetings and nation meetings and they want to meet some nice, they want to have some entertainment or whatever. Okay? And maybe even some party favors. This is a man's world. All about power and control.
You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The question that lingers on the lips of nearly every
Now this is what I wanted to get to. This face right here, this woman right here, one of the biggest criminals behind some of the corruption and a lot of these black men that are being held accountable, that are at the highest level of wealth. You don't see her bring no Harvey Weinstein, this evil little Jewish woman, okay? And she ain't even a real Jew. See, we got some bad Jews that been running America, okay? These people have been not good to black people and even some white, some people over there in Palestine and those people over there in Gaza or whatever. These are the criminals. And why she want to see R. Kelly punished or any black man punished. They work for Hollywood and the music industry. This woman, Gloria Allred, this wicked, evil, the queen of one of the corruptions behind our jurisdiction.
Order of R. Kelly is simple yet profound. Why has the government gone to such extreme lengths in its prosecution of this man? Why stack a series of convoluted, loosely connected and heavily exaggerated federal charges, including the rarely used RICO statute and the outdated Mann Act against a single individual, when simpler?
Now, this is what I'm saying. Look at how she got these black women fighting in her fight against wealthy entertainers and everything that take advantage of their female artists that have exploited them and made them have sexual favors with them for their careers. This ain't had nothing to do with R. Kelly. What is what she trying to cover up and trying to put it on R. Kelly and trying to say it's R. Kelly when it's Epstein, Clive Davis, and the other one that's sitting up there, Clive Davis, Epstein, and Harvey Weinstein. She ain't never come out and say anything about them three, did she? This Gloria Allred.
More direct charges could have sufficed. Why indeed? Let's begin by calling it what it is. This wasn't justice. This wasn't about the rule of law. This was a mission, or call it a coordinated operation, deeply rooted in hidden motives and high-stakes financial interests, not to seek truth.
How they stripped it, these witnesses, these people, gave them these scripts to come in front of the public and say all these lies. They even put out a hotline number you can call, and people were calling and just calling just to call up, what's her name? As much as she knew that R. Kelly was innocent, but there's nothing she can do. This black district attorney, Kim, oh my God, how could I? Kim Fox. How they made the black woman become the face of against the black man. How they used the black woman in the Me Too movement to become the face against the black man. How this was the white woman's fight with the white man for her equal rights. So what they had to do was they had to come and call the black woman out and say some of these black women who loved R. Kelly, and even though they admitted that they did it because they was willing to do whatever they wanted to do and get, not because he wanted them to do it, but that's what they wanted to do. They signed up for it. Let's go on.
To secure a predetermined outcome. A mission launched not to serve the public interest but to protect powerful entities from financial liability by eliminating their problem. And that problem was Robert Sylvester Kelly, the R&B icon who, if free, would cost them billions.
Sorry,
now
y'all.
Let's dig in. Had R. Kelly ever truly and definitively committed a provable crime involving a minor, and had the government possessed undeniable evidence of such, wouldn't that have been enough? Wouldn't a single airtight case be sufficient to secure?
Hey, Frankie. Hey, YDK Lily with Lily. Oh, yeah, by the grace of God. Though this ain't, see, they want to get, now this about to be, it is a World War III, yeah. You just ain't see it yet. It's just ain't, it's going on. But God's setting it up. Okay, his people who are not going to be affected by this war, who are going to be safe, and who are going to come through this fire like pure gold. God already got his people covered. That's why I'm not sitting here stressing and worrying and none of it. But I'm just telling you, black people out there, just stand down. Just stand down. This is not our fight. We are the ones who are in captivity. It is not our fight. We are the ones who got to be rescued. In America, we are the, what you would say, the prisoners of war in America.
For a conviction, impose punishment, and satisfy the justice system's goals? One would think so. But here's the twist: the government's own choices reveal their intentions. Instead of pursuing clear individual offenses with clean-cut evidence, they opted for broad federal statutes designed for large-scale criminal networks. That is the RICO Act and the Mann Act. Why? Because individual cases might not hold up under scrutiny. They might fall apart in court. They might be challenged and overturned. And worst of all, from their perspective, R. Kelly might walk free. But that couldn't be allowed. Not under any circumstance, because freedom for R. Kelly wouldn't just be inconvenient, it would be financially catastrophic for those who stood to lose. Let's talk numbers. As of recent estimates, the music industry is valued at nearly $30 billion a year from streaming revenues alone. $30 billion per year. A significant portion of that fortune was built on the backs of artists, many of whom, like R. Kelly, never saw their fair share. These are artists who wrote, produced and performed timeless music that continues to rake in revenue across the globe. But when it comes to time for fair compensation, the industry suddenly plays deaf. Now imagine if R. Kelly, who is one of the most prolific, influential and monetarily valuable artists of the past 3 decades, were to finally...
You know what's so interesting about this is that this is going to be the last man standing. They're going to be at R. Kelly's footstool. He's going to be the last man standing. Because guess what? Those nations of those Islamic nations all over the world love R. Kelly. So they had messed with the wrong black man. This is going to be the last black man they're going to try to destroy with their lies and their corruption. Everything that they did wrong to this man, they're going to pay for their crime. R. Kelly's not worrying about us American citizens, black American citizens fighting for his freedom. We have been calling and begging for the last going on 6 years. When they became hard and mean, and then instead of them retreating, and instead of them finding this man innocent, they even put him even on house arrest. They couldn't even do that. Which I believe they probably already did have him on house arrest before they took him in. I don't know. I don't want to go wild with that one. But R. Kelly will no longer be having to worry about America and their racism. Because once R. Kelly do get his freedom, I doubt if he be even living in America. I doubt if he even live in America. Because of what they did to him. How they destroyed this man's character. How they destroyed his reputation out there. Let's go on.
receive what he was owed. The payouts would be massive. The legal battles over royalties, ownership rights and contractual breaches could stretch into the hundreds of millions of dollars and possibly billions. And that's a price the record labels, publishers, distributors and streaming platforms were never willing to pay. So what do you do when paying is more expensive than eliminating? Definitely for a soulless corporation like Sony, you eliminate. And that's where the government came in. The deployment of the federal prosecutors wasn't just a legal maneuver. It was a business strategy and cold calculated one. Because removing R. Kelly from the equation doesn't just stop a lawsuit. It stops the financial bleeding before it even starts. And so they dusted off legal relics like the Mann Act, a law written in 1910 and originally intended to target forced prostitution and human trafficking, which they applied to conduct that. Remember, many other cases wouldn't have triggered this level of federal scrutiny. They also weaponized the RICO Act, a law...
Look how much class R. Kelly got. He's standing there with Steve Greenberg, his attorney, and I'm going to talk about Steve Greenberg. Just give me a minute. Sometime this week, I'm going to bring something up, okay, about who's Steve Greenberg, who's the real Steve Greenberg. Okay, another not so good Jewish lawyer that actually knew he could not fight this RICO and this Mann Act or whatever they was coming at R. Kelly for. He didn't go hard and do whatever for R. Kelly, but he could go sit on the court TV platform and give his input and his insight and everything else. But Steve Greenberg was part of the setup too. he wasn't in the best interest of R. Kelly. And some people already had pointed it out. Even some of the people I didn't like said that Steve Greenberg wasn't in the best interest of R. Kelly. Neither was Nicole either. Their job was just to make it look good, make it look like R. Kelly was going to be okay. R. Kelly was going to win this battle. R. Kelly, no, that black man for Diddy case with these other high profile attorneys and everything. He was like, "Look, I'm out of here. I'm not getting down with this shit." Why he don't want to be a part of the team, to be excused from being part of the team to take down um, Diddy. He's from the other side of the team. He is already saying, "Y'all are not going to use me for the slaughter of my brother, of all the crimes that all of y'all might have committed, and even the people in your family that have committed some powerful, high profile criminal acts." And they got off free. They got off in your justice system. Even when Biden want President Trump to pardon Hunter, Trump tore that, destroyed that pardon. Trump's not going to do it. The crazy Nazis and the crazy ignorant KKK up there yelling for help. They want in this. We ain't worrying about your military protecting us here. We ain't worried about the police department protecting us here. Because, like I said, the world is watching. God, army of people are watching of what you trying to do to destroy God's people, to destroy, to harm, to kill, to rape, to murder God's people. Those innocent lives already been shed. That blood in America for the black man has already been shed. Of all the black men that have been done wrong in the system, for every black child that died senselessly in some gang war or some war on drugs or by police brutality and police violence in America, to the black lives. Soon as Trump got elected in the tree, here come them dumbass Nazis and them dumbass KKK people over there trying to go over there and start trouble with those black people that lived there for so many years and have a historic, it's like historically. They don't bother you. They don't come in your neighborhoods and do all kind of whacked out shit, launching up in your neighborhood with flags and everything, with the black American fists up in the air and everything. We don't do that. But y'all come and disrespect us and come on out outside of town on our territory, and come over there to think what you did back in maybe 1600 or whatever. That you're gonna try that shit now, and it's gonna work. And you think we gonna back down and ain't gonna try to defend ourselves? And then this woman on the news asking the black woman why they wear a mask on their face, why they were wearing them bed sheets, why they were wearing their mask. They gonna fuck around and find out, because these people out here ain't playing. We just gonna stand down. But if y'all come after us, we gonna defend ourselves. The white man time is up here in America. He will not continue to be the top man in control anymore in this country. This man from Middle East, whatever, from history, he's letting y'all know. He's letting y'all know.
designed to dismantle organized crime syndicates like the mafia and twisted it until it could be used against a single man, an artist and a performer that was not involved in such organized crime. Let's be honest, how does a musician who doesn't run a cartel or gang, doesn't sell drugs, and isn't involved in organized violence fit the definition of a criminal enterprise? The answer, he doesn't. But when the goal is conviction at any cost, definitions become flexible. Evidence becomes optional. And the law becomes a tool, not a standard. Let's look at the facts. If R. Kelly were charged only with individual offenses, say, inappropriate relationships or statutory crimes, he would have had a chance. The cases would rise or fall on their own merit. Witness credibility could be challenged. Evidence would have to be concrete. And there's a real chance that some, if not all, of those charges wouldn't stick. Especially considering that many of the accusations came years and even decades after the alleged incidents. That's where the strategy came in. By invoking RICO, the government sidestepped many of those hurdles. Now, instead of proving individual wrongdoing beyond a reasonable doubt, they only had to paint a picture, a narrative of a so-called enterprise and claim R. Kelly was its mastermind. Suddenly hearsay became acceptable. Unproven stories became patterns, and association became conspiracy. This is not justice. This is theatrics at play. And it didn't stop there. In Chicago, they added obstruction of justice charges, claiming that during his 2008 trial, he and others conspired to suppress evidence and silence witnesses. Once again, we see a pattern. Charges that are difficult to disprove because they hinge on testimony from incentivized witnesses, many of whom were offered immunity, reduced sentences,
Those of you that's in the chat, could you please hit the like button? I appreciate it. Thank you.
or financial incentives in return for their cooperation. And even after he battled these charges and won according to the jury, the judge dismissed his acquittal and sentenced him like he was guilty of obstruction. And still, even with this mountain of questionable charges, the prosecutions were shaky. If not for the controversial use of RICO and the Mann Act, R. Kelly would be nearing eligibility for release. Maybe even already out. And that's a timeline that frightened the industry. Because a free R. Kelly is a dangerous R. Kelly, not to the public, but to the status quo. They didn't fear the man. They feared what he represented. Ownership, accountability, and unpaid debts. And this isn't unprecedented, as we've seen this before. Think back to Michael Jackson, another musical giant and financial titan. When he started gaining too much control over his catalog, including ownership of the Beatles catalog and major publishing rights, accusations began to swirl. They couldn't convict him, and so they ruined his image. And when that didn't stop him, he was eliminated just like that. It's not a conspiracy theory when the pattern repeats itself. So what
You too, Lily. Have a blessed day. Thank you for stopping in, Lily.
do we do with this information? We speak it out, we share it, and we challenge the narrative. R. Kelly is not a perfect man. In fact, none of us is. But the question here isn't whether he was a saint or not. The question is whether he was targeted, railroaded, and buried under an avalanche of deliberately inflated charges to serve a financial purpose and not a legal one. And when you really
And you know what is so amazing about God? That he shows up at a time like this, whether we want to believe or not believe, how God works. As much as they wanted to try to kill R. Kelly, to keep him quiet, they couldn't touch him. They can't touch him. Because God is in control of all of this. They cannot touch that man's anointing. They can't touch the power that that man holds behind his music. They couldn't even keep it behind the prison doors when R. Kelly made that move and did that remix. And then everybody stopped and heard R. Kelly. Some say, is that him? Is it fake? Is it? Every song that you see coming up, and I wanted to make this announcement of how we felt about that AI, that was a genius move. Because the AI is R. Kelly, but not R. Kelly's voice, but his song is in that. What he's saying. What he's saying through his song, but he's not singing the rap songs they putting out to try to drown out the message. The songs that they keep promoting that you can't hear really if that's R. Kelly or not. But in this AI stuff is knowing that this AI video is not the real R. Kelly, like some technology is there, but it is his music that's getting from behind the prison doors. The R. Kelly, the Robert, put it this way, that's Robert coming from behind the prison door. Not R. Kelly, but Robert, when you listen to those inspirational songs. It's Robert. R. Kelly is when he on the stage performing and, sex me baby and all that other stuff. That's R. Kelly's music. But that's not all R. Kelly's music. You see, that's the music for the perverts out there that want to go and get with somebody's daughter or little girl or whatever, things of that nature. But the R. Kelly music is in gospel. R. Kelly's music is in, let me see, like I said, country. R. Kelly's music is in reggae. R. Kelly's music is even in some Afro beats. R. Kelly's music is in just about every category of music. There is R. Kelly, Robert, who wrote the song.
Examine the facts. The answer becomes crystal clear. You see, when justice becomes a commodity and guilt is manufactured for profit, and when the law is molded to fit an agenda, then none of us are safe. Today it's R. Kelly. Yesterday it was Michael Jackson. Tomorrow it could be anyone who threatens the bottom line. This therefore isn't about defending bad behavior but about exposing corrupt systems. The truth is, if R. Kelly had done something unquestionably wrong, they wouldn't have needed RICO. They wouldn't have needed the Mann Act. They wouldn't have needed stories from 20 years ago recycled and retold until they became gospel. They would have charged him plainly, simply and directly, and the case would stand or fall on its own, but they didn't because they couldn't. So instead they built a narrative, dressed it up in federal language and sold it to the public. But the facts remain, and thankfully they speak louder than headlines. R. Kelly is in prison today not just because of what he allegedly did, but because of who he is and, more importantly, what he is worth. $1 billion problem. And in this industry, when the cost of compensation is too high, they would rather silence the artist than pay what is owed. This is the reality we must confront, not just for R. Kelly, but for every artist, every creator, every black man or woman who dares to demand justice, ownership and autonomy in an industry that thrives on exploitation. So let the world hear the other side. Let the record show the manipulation, the motives, the misconduct. And let the truth be told even when it's inconvenient. Because in the end, history doesn't remember what the headline said. It remembers who had the courage to speak the truth even when the world refused to listen. If you want to be featured in our video releases, send us your clips by emailing them to hnnewsroom242@gmail.com or use Google Drive for larger files. Be sure to include your name and any details you'd like us to know. We can't wait to showcase your contributions. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember.
Okay. I love sharing my video from HN News. I remember when HN News first came to this platform. They actually wanted me to sit on some of their platforms with them and, share some of the things that I knew, because they gave me a lot of credit for what I do. And I appreciate that. So that's why I had to give them this opportunity to be here. so that they can share their research in this video and what they expressed in this video to the public about what's going on around the superstar, the king of R&B, R. Kelly. And he will always be the king of R&B forever and evermore throughout history. Okay, throughout history. Not only just the king in R&B because of his music, but because of his faith and the love he had for the Lord, our Savior, Jesus Christ, who's been keeping him, holding him, and been there with him through it all. When they trying to do what they trying to set R. Kelly up, make it more, trying to get him all tangled up in this stuff with Diddy and with Jay-Z, and trying to bring up old stuff about Jay-Z and his relationship being estranged, and how it became, they broke apart. Like R. Kelly knows some stuff on Jay-Z, and Jay-Z knows something. Whatever they knew on each other is out there. Ain't no secret. There's no secret. Everything they knew about each other is out there. They already had they brawl. They already had they fight, and everything else like that. They don't. When you see these two men again together, it's going to be on something good and not something evil. And the thing is that they trying to set it up where they trying to put R. Kelly in the flames with Diddy and Jay-Z. And R. Kelly's been locked up for 6 whatever years. He knows that he can't be having no conversation with these people about any of the crimes going on behind the scene. And to be honest with you, about the prison part, being in jail and everything for R. Kelly was basically one of the best moves that they could have possibly made, because I don't think R. Kelly would have been able to be safe from all of this if he wasn't in jail for what's going on now. How the fire is burning on Diddy, and how things are falling on Diddy, and how they coming for Jay-Z now. But the thing is that R. Kelly is safe. He's been safe in prison. That was the safest place for him to really in America to go. God knows how to take you around the enemy and hide you. Because if he was out here, he probably wouldn't have lasted. The way they was dragging him in the public, and the things they were saying about him in the public, and what was waking up in some of these people's spirit, that was already dealing with something that has happened to them from somebody else, or it could have happened to them. They could have probably been part of the affliction. I mean, the trafficking, and the working there as a sex worker or whatever in that industry. Because you hear how 50 Cent is sitting there on his platform using it to attack Diddy and Jay-Z, but more I think he's going for Diddy on some things in this business, like him being the man coming up with hands being clean and not dirty like Diddy. And he ain't been a part of none of the stuff like Diddy, making himself look like he ain't had no part of it. You in that industry, boo. You're in that industry, and right now you probably up there with the big dogs when it comes to some of the money that some of the rest of the rappers. They was able to give you a platform. They was able to give you all these other things that they making you feel good with for now, so you can be controlled by saying the things you say about Diddy. Instead of just say, we ain't going to talk about that until the man go to trial. Let's be fair here. Let's find the man innocent until proven guilty, even though some of these things might have happened, but we ain't going to talk on it. We just going to leave it alone until it gets to the courthouse. And I'm not going to be the one to talk about it and they're going to say, I said whatever. I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to talk to my audience. I'm going to tell my people and everything that Diddy, yeah, he's in some trouble, but we ain't going to use out my platform for all of that. Let's talk about what's ahead in the game of music. Let's talk about some of the things we need to change about our work, or what we put out there in the audience of young people or young artists and everything else. You can have that kind of discussion, but you don't be sitting on your platform to make yourself look like you clean from all of this, because you're not. You're in that industry. You exploited women. You was out there on the street selling that image of drugs and violence and all, and you sold us the image of power on digital TV or whatever that I ain't even watched. I might have watched the show maybe one time, not even the whole show, just probably some snippets of it, because I don't really get into. I don't know. I don't do whatever like violence that much. I mean, I watch gangster movies, but when I do watch these type of movies and everything, I'm really looking for the meat. I'm looking for the message behind the 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 theatrics. I'm just really looking for what is really the message. Not just looking at the scenes of violence, like to see all the action and everything. I want to hear the message. I want to see the message at the end. I want to see the message. So anyway, like I'm not sitting up here hating on 50. I'm not hating on Busta, and I'm not hating on none of these artists that do what they do as far as how they make their money. But when it comes to kicking a man down when he's already down and he's fighting for his life, and you sitting up there gesturing about it, making fun about it, laughing about it, I don't like to see that. No matter what wrong these men have done, I'm not going to sit down and laugh and think it's funny that they are being accused of crimes they may have had nothing to do with, and destroy and seeing their families being destroyed. I'm not going to sit up there and think is something to laugh about. It's horrible. And just to look at a bunch of men just sitting down on a platform, on not doing anything to build and to resolve things. They doing things just to get money and think you got to think about people in a way where there's some humanity. Even behind the money, you should have some humanity. You should be humble. Even if you don't like the person and they did you wrong and you seeing them being punished, God has a place for you for doing that. I don't think nothing that's happening to Diddy's life right now, even if he did do some of those things that they're accusing him of, I don't find it funny at all, because I got to look at all the other lives that's being destroyed behind Diddy. I'm looking at his two daughters, the twins. I'm looking at the other daughter that's standing up there, his sons, the baby. I'm looking at his family. I'm looking at the fact that, of course, his mother was down going to, that's her son. What mother ain't going to love their child? What mother ain't going to want to be there to be a part of their happiness or be a part of their success or whatever? What mother doesn't want to, see their children? So I kind of feel sorry for his mother, too, to see this going through what they doing to her baby boy. It's not something to sit around and laugh about, because today it could be that person, but tomorrow it could be you. I don't get no amusement out of seeing people suffer like that. Not like that. Not in this situation. This is not funny, and this is nothing to be sitting around making fun of seeing what's happening to Diddy, and how they keep running these things about how Diddy is not going to make it, and they want looking for Diddy to kill himself so they could keep their hands clean. But when you sitting on God's throne is where God shows his grace and mercy for the sinner. God is giving his grace and his mercy for the sinner. And I can't be a Christian running around here, even though I get my mouth a little dirty sometimes because I have to. But I can't sit around here as a Christian and hold any kind of malice in my heart against any man or any woman, for anybody. I have to empty my heart before the Lord. I have to empty myself before God before I could come out here and speak on certain things. And this, like I started with my conversation earlier in this video, I said I got to speak to God and to ask God to forgive me. Before I go ahead and say the things I got to say here, ask him to forgive me, because I know some things are going to come out that's going to hurt somebody. I'm sorry I was interrupted by that. Let me get off the phone. I just got a message that this person is coming over here. So I'm going to have to talk to y'all later. So I'll talk with y'all later. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel